Yes, how many have been, is this the first Harmony breakfast that you've been to? Oh, quite a number. Yeah. And yeah, the rest of you I recognize. So anyway, so let me introduce the Poway Interfaith team. Sometimes we go by point. That's kind of a nice little acronym that we have there. Anyway, we're comprised of a community of members representing faith-based spiritual organizations which have a physical presence or a congregation in Poway, California, or the surrounding vicinity. So we're trying not to have any limits, really. We agree to come together not for the purpose of converting others to any faith, but to celebrate, educate, and share our similarities as well as our differences for the good and understanding of all. And it's interesting because we do find out that that different faiths start from all different places in the world have the same basic concepts. So it's one of the things that shows there is something going on beyond what we see in this world. There is something that is trying to affect our behavior to guide us towards something somewhere, and religion is the vehicle that's trying to open our minds, our hearts, our spirits to get there. So enough about us. Well, now a little bit more. The purpose of Point is to increase community awareness and understanding by educating the community about different faith traditions in a spirit of friendliness, fellowship, and unity. And we also work to promote mutual understanding and respect among member faiths to deal with issues which affect the total religious community, to share members' concerns for the challenges of the community, for the nation, and for the world. So, World Interfaith Harmony Week. It's an annual event. This is the 15th one. So that's great. I think have we done every one since so it was first started uh it's designated the first week of February. It's a United Nations event. It was designated by the General Assembly in 2010 as conceived to promote and culture of peace and nonviolence, and it was first proposed by King Abdullah II of Jordan. So, a region of the world where religions really kind of struggle and are constantly forced to interact with each other in one way or another. Um, so the General Assembly pointed out that the mutual understanding and interreligious dialogue constitute important dimensions of a culture of peace and established World Interfaith Harmony Week as a way to promote harmony between all peoples, regardless of their faith. And that's all I have to say. So,
Good.
am I good? All right.
Well, if you wanted to have, if they want to look on
Okay.
this screen, there's some of the events we've done. We're trying to change the input. We don't know.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Sorry, folks.
Okay. Well, let's see. So, well, okay. Oh, now you're testing me to see, okay, what are each of these pictures there? Well, I get to be in one of them I see there, but we've had various
Speaker programs.
yeah, speaker programs. One of the things we do a lot is having people from different faiths discuss a particular topic that usually something how every faith may present or uh, maybe attack's not the right word, but deal with a certain problem and different events, what their beliefs in. So that's where we really find out that we're closer than we are apart. We love to do stuff with uh, with the local police department and the fire department and anything with the city of Poway. Poway is such a great place. I have to really call it out right now. Our police force and our fire department, they've made certain presentations, Faith in Blue events that we've had. Um, Most people really don't know everything that their police and fire department can do and the capacity that they have. And when you go to one of these events, which we'll be involved in that, you find out a lot about it. And because you know your civil servants here, they're your neighbors. They live with you here, and and you come to find that Poway is just it has that small town atmosphere, and so it's just really, no matter how it grows or whatever, this community just has something very special, and to be able to live here is really a blessing in itself. And so I'm very grateful to our police and fire department and everything that they do here. And the city council, yeah, they always do that. Anybody from the city council here? Oh, we're gonna have to talk to them. Okay. All right. Anything else I need to talk to on there? Okay. Up. I guess it's time for Reverend Sherry. Okay, Sherry. Thank you very much, and please enjoy yourselves here. I hope you have a great time.
Thank you, Robert. And thank you, Harry. Now, Harry's trying to work on our input here. It's worked every other year, I know.
Trying.
And there are distractions in life, aren't there? So we just roll with it. So today it might have gotten you here, but a lot of times you're just here because this is what you do. You would want to join, point on this first Wednesday at the Interfaith Harmony Week, and I appreciate that. But our theme today is the wondrous web of weed. And so, and we cannot deeply explore this theme in our brief time together. And we're not going to even attempt that. This is just a taste of our connectedness to one another and to the world around us. But our intention is that, and our hope is that you will leave this place feeling a little more connected to other humans and to all of creation and everything that's here, that you just be a little more mindful of that. What we do affects others, and what they do affects us. Picture a spider's web. If you wish, you can take the little web ring that's on the table for you. Yes, there's one for everyone. They're small. I've got mine on my pinky, but they are adjustable. They are not heirloom. So, but picture that, and I did this. This is just a fun little thing to remind you of our time together, and that we are all connected. Yeah, some of you, it may be hard to even put it on, but maybe you can, use it as an earring. You can do a little clip-on earring there. John, I'm waiting for you to put it on as an earring. In a spider's web, there are many strands of silk that may appear to be single strands, the individual. Yet one cannot be moved without all of it feeling the vibration. This is true of our lives too. Chief Seattle, a leader of the Duwamish and Suquamish peoples, wisely said, "Humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together. All things connect." The starting point of the construction of a spider's web, I learned over the last couple of weeks, begins by a spider releasing a single strand of silk into the wind and waiting to see where the wind takes it and attaches, and that will become its foundation. What lessons might we learn from this? Is it the intention to make a connection that is the primary act? Or might it be that like the spider, we must release something within ourselves and trust the wind to deliver it to the foundation point where all other connections will be built from? What other ponderings arise? I invite you to consider the web of life, our connections, as we listen, reflect, and share together this morning. Mitchell Snow of Interfaith Community Services will now share a song. And after Mitchell, Autumn Hankinson from the Community Church of Poway will share a quote. And then you'll get to play with the yarn that's on your table. Okay?
All right, it's been a while since I've played.
for a group of people. So that's why realize that the mic stand that I borrowed doesn't actually have a connector to it. So we're gonna improv this.
I can hold it for you. If the tape doesn't work, I can be your
We will
stand.
see. Well, we will see. That's gonna work just.
Next problem solved.
Right. So this song is called "The Grizzly Bear and the Butterfly." This a little over 10 years ago, during a time where I was going through a lot of changes. And I think when we think about how connected we are together, it's important to recognize each other's ability to change, especially when there are people that we may not agree with, people that we may have had differences with. It can be so important to be looking for the good in our neighbor. So that's a little bit about what this song is. So it's called "The Grizzly Bear and the Butterfly." Saw a smiling grizzly bear as he sits right down for dinner with all the other creatures of the earth. Says, I'm sorry for what I've done. I know I've been a sinner. I finally reached the moment of rebirth. The rabbit shoots him a dirty glance, tells him it's too late. He takes his carrots and he hops right out the door. The deer he sees right through him, and he won't take the bait. No, you won't take pleasure from eating me anymore. The fish just gives a laugh. Then he swims away, and one by one the others follow too. And under their breath, the bear can hear them say, we won't spend another moment here with you. Now the grizzly bear remains, but his smile has gone, as no one believes that he has grown. He lays his head in his paws as the floods pour on. He sits helpless, completely alone. Then the butterfly lands on his shoulder. She flutters her wings and says, I've known that you were good all along. You have to trust that with time they'll change their stubborn ways. They'll see us and they'll know they were wrong. You see, the butterfly has been through rough times. She understands the pain. She knows that all he needs is just one friend. She says, oh, grizzly bear, I love you. You'll never be alone again. And they traveled on together to the end. And they traveled on together to the end.
Hi, I'm Autumn. There's the quote behind you if you want to make sure I say it right. So this is a quote from Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. You have been my friend. That in itself is a tremendous thing. I wove my webs for you because I liked you. After all, what's a life anyway? We're born, we live a little while, we die. A spider's life can't help being something of a mess, with all this trapping and eating flies. By helping you, perhaps I was trying to lift up my life a trifle. Heaven knows anyone's life can stand a little of that.
Thank you, Mitchell and Autumn. And again, today is just to kind of get your brains and hearts and spirits thinking about our connectedness. So the things that are shared today, we hope it does do that. But now you get to play with the yarn, as I promised. Okay, so if one person at each little table grouping picks up the yarn, finds the end of it, we tried to make that easy, Okay, don't be shy. Someone just grab the ball of yarn. Okay. Okay. And in a moment, after I say go, you're going to hold on to that end of yarn and share a brief one sentence. You'll have 30 seconds each. Okay, this is just a taste. You'll have more time to share as we, have breakfast and things. But just take, no more than 30 seconds, about a brief sentence, maybe two, about a time you experienced a human connection or act of friendship. Possibly it was unexpected, but it was deep and meaningful to you. So you're going to share a brief sentence about a time that you experienced an unexpected human connection or act of friendship. And then while the person who has the ball of yarn, after they share, they will hold on to the end of the yarn and pass it. You can pass it across if you want to make a nice web. If you want to pass it next to it, you can be a round web too. But you're going to pass it to someone else at your table. And as they have the ball of yarn, then they're going to share a time that they experienced an unexpected or deep human connection or act of friendship. And if you need reminders, it's on the screen back there because the screen isn't connected to us for some reason. Okay. All right. So are there questions? You're answering one simple question. We'll all get back together again in no more than 3 minutes, okay? And when the last person at your table grouping has shared, I ask you just to hold on to the ball of yarn. You can set it in front of you if you wish. But everyone hold on to their little piece because we're going to try to create this web a little bit bigger. Okay? All right. Oh, what are you thinking?
Did you know? Is he trying? to that. I mean, they were really nice. Like they but in all the stories you know like this one, when they were one chatting and her, you know, things are going on. There's communities. Well, that film is still interesting, but and kind of other things. Very things. Everybody I can't wait to do. I'm not and that I well, I'm sure you know I don't know. People remember your home, which I thought was being that when they never everything what you know the issues. I could learn so trying to get myself but I didn't this thing that's working well but I didn't that even what the people which is
Okay, if you have not been able to share, raise your hand so I know, and I'll give you another minute. Okay, so a couple groups are sharing too long over there, okay? But Lou, pick up the pace. Okay.
They're not intolerant.
I'm with the Poway Flash. Want to see or you can okay it some way I'm going to say the it's supposed to it's a long time.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to pause your conversation for just a moment. You can eat. Okay, in a moment, we're going to have Parth come and read an excerpt from Braiding Sweetgrass. But something that you might be wondering, what are these boxes on the table for? Okay, anyone wondering that? Okay, well, there's a QR code and looks like, you might accept some money. Well, yes. Okay, because today's event is a BYOB, buy your own breakfast. Okay, and so to make it much easier on our servers, our wait staff, we're just doing one bill, okay, and Point will take care of that. And we are trusting each of you just to put what you would pay for your breakfast with including tax and gratuity into the box or use the QR code and pay it online. Okay? Any questions? This is the honor system, folks, because you're all honorable folks. I know that. Again, what you do affects me. What I do affects you. What we all do affects one another, right? Okay. So enjoy your breakfast. Parth is now going to share. Thank you, Parth.
So I'm going to read you an excerpt from the book Braiding Sweetgrass, which has become one of my favorite books that I have ever read. The author is an indigenous woman from the Potawatomi tribe, and she's also trained as a botanist, so a scientist in the Western tradition. And I'm not going to read this quote up here, but if you look at it, she's talking about the title, Braiding Sweetgrass. And what she does is in the book, she intertwines the three strands of science and spirit and story to create a braid of healing stories that she writes throughout the book, where we can imagine ourselves in deep relationship with the earth and each other. So I ask you to think about right now a time or a place in nature where you have been or where you like to go. Could be the ocean, the woods, the mountains. I remember a time when I was in the wilderness and how you feel a part of nature. And keep that in mind as you listen to this excerpt. I come here to the woods to listen, to lean my bones against the column of white pine, turn off the voice in my head until I can hear the voices outside it, the shh of wind and needles, water trickling over rock, nuthatch tapping, chipmunks digging, beech nut falling, and something more, something that is not me, for which we have no language, the wordless being of others in which we are never alone. After the drumbeat of my mother's heart, this was my first language. Listening in wild places, we are audience to conversations in a language not our own. It was a longing to comprehend this language that I hear in the woods that led me to science, to learn to speak fluent botany, a tongue that should not, by the way, be mistaken for the language of plants. I learned another language in science, one of careful observation, an intimate vocabulary that names each little part. To name and describe, you must first see, and science polishes the gift of seeing. But beneath its rich vocabulary and descriptive power, something is missing. The same something that swells around you and in you when you listen to the world. Science can be a language of distance, which reduces a being to its working parts. It is a language of objects. The precise language scientists speak is based on a profound error in grammar, an omission, a grave loss in translation from the native languages of these shores. My first taste of the missing language was the Anishinaabe word Poway, which translates as the force which causes mushrooms to push up from the earth overnight. As a biologist, I was stunned that such a word existed. In all its technical vocabulary, Western science has no such term, no words to hold this mystery. You'd think that biologists, of all people, would have words for life. But in scientific language, our terminology is used to define the boundaries of our knowing. What lies beyond our grasp remains unnamed.
Thank you, Parth. I was so absorbed, I didn't have that. So now, as you can, and if your table decides to imagine, that's fine. But if you can continue making your web without getting it sticky in your syrup or falling into your eggs or your avocado toast, okay, yes, it's a little challenge. The person who has the ball of yarn will start, and this time, again, just briefly, I'm going to ask you to share. And again, if it's easier just to talk and not pass the yarn, that's okay. You can do it in your minds. I trust your mind's eyes. Then you're going to just speak briefly about a time, about a practice that you keep that honors or highlights your connection to our natural world. Okay, so a practice that you do, maybe you do meditation, maybe you know, dance in the rain, maybe walk barefoot in the sand or in the grass, um, or some type of thing that practice that you keep that highlights or honors our connection to the natural world, and then pass the yarn either in your mind or physically to the next person who will also share. And again, the if you need reminders, it's on the screen in front of me to your left or right, depending where you're sitting. Okay. And this is again, just maybe you'll learn a new practice that you'll want to keep. All right. So enjoy your breakfast, enjoy your conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not about looking on house. Why he already wrote the notes. In between. And go, yeah, you should share up more really thought. Yeah, the right in your, but, well, but when I started, but there's good pleasure. Back then, what they, we're leaving with that, yeah, it's not seasons, emotional silence. Yeah, finally, yeah, we're, what I really listen to me, who's focused on flying. It's sort of a people condition, but you can share with you, especially for like, yeah, that, you want my curiosity, like, all of our kind of thing, my right. I know, like, a spirit, she might have left, how much. Yeah. It's visual, or like, yeah, we want, we don't do. Nah. Why did I even better when I'm hearing your mouth? Don't think in town and stuff. What is that? It kind of feeling for all of it. It was one thing you heard. It's all. You think about it. They say also, but it is such a long way. And get it enough check on it. That's because there's no else see what I don't know. Like that. Like you did it for friends. Yeah. Which is ours, which is right you can like this. You can probably that's how I see it. Work. They're all the time like about reading. I like this. Yeah. And I just think the thing with the one time until Testament, yeah, there's like metros. Don't like the dress and grabs like aid and faith and inspiration because they took it long. In fact, they were not for weeks. And you were very new. And I was which really the sort of lead things is hungry, satisfying them, stout, rapidly meat on the back, every big bears and here for the experience. And then it's literally like, oh my goodness, really practice it.
It's like cheese.
Based our slime. Yeah, nothing. When we say it's so easy. That means something. Well, but it's flying at that makes sense. But I'll go. That's what I got. That's not some sort of where we'll back that is good. And it's slime mold, but that's just that. How's that trout? Down the route, all the special, so you'll blossom it. You know, got all that. And the food. Yeah. Yes. Biggest still fish with our fish, you have to remember. The general is called traveling. Yeah, so my son you give it by. He was actually really curious. He had those ideas. But to know. So he leaves a travel. So he sent very all this stuff. He arranged to do it. Which led me to us and I didn't know. We want to fish. That's not me, it's like swimming. Like it. Like it's the time that you know, as well as in for really 5 minutes. Oh, my hair crazy. It's without breaks. And it's like obviously walk. And like my son used to be running through the tables. And then again, when he's back out, I'm trying. Let it be action. Yeah. That's me. Let's do that. Such a nice, it was pretty long, like, yeah, Kevin went to the job. So having me. You're talking about here, it's not, that's what you can bring around. So, while I'm on, the most important issue in Korea, we have to talk. We are, all right. I can say, for example, if you choose that, it's really good. Thanks. You're good. Let's. One more. Which they always you see, almost other than one has to see how they not live on something, only do the rings. It's my daughter, it's not sure but really know that we do. It's I think it's really good on it. See, that's you don't know what to do. Learn first being there. So I don't know. There's nothing else. There's right lines. There's no it's not that they're when they're working, you run consider the enters the rate. It's no way to make the right. Usually, people know. We can want to filter right. You know, we should know that there's not should know. Now, the problem, you like, let's say you're right. And was trying to get it just great. Even though only one it's about without being ignored and well, that wants to study one like yeah, it's like as in we I may not make this here. Not I don't know. Sorry. So you have this moment. I'll have something. Right. So we can one. But you're actually, yes, that's. So, some of the issues, but you are like, you're learning, I think, like, once it's always good. He's, this 600 $. Sure. Why, if you don't do it, better to go tall. You experience can connect, but a very different, well about that, and it's a direct. I mean, you go. It's me, the airport, you know, it's just you think you're really not, you can go there. You know? Yeah, that's good. Making. Sure, original, first one, it's, you know. Yeah, that was in touch. That's in the plan where you should shoot on that. How to make the line. To give their little. And they're fix the. That. One. Six. Yeah. And. We'll give it out. Again. Like, or big. Yeah. No. That means get told. Ancient. No. Yeah.
I might stay and have my own breakfast, but thank you so much for asking.
No.
I'm going to ask you to pause your conversation for just a moment. And you don't have to leave. This isn't a goodbye, but I just want to give you a few good words. That's benediction, is just good words, right? So I know some people will be have to leave sooner. I do want to recognize that County Supervisor Joel Anderson sent his representative Yasin.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. And again, the boxes are there just to put in your cash. If you carry a checkbook, you can make it out to Poway Interfaith team, or of course the QR code. All right. So again, this is not you don't need to leave. Just like if you're handed a check at the restaurant, you don't need to leave right then, right? Feel free to continue a conversation. But as you leave this place, may you leave feeling a little more connected one to another and to our environment and build that bond. May you hold that in sacred trust. Be well.
I do. This is how you right? Yeah. It's not even. Just to know that we say, well, it's in a certain way. Interprets maybe your name, let's keep those to that. Let's say it isn't help. We albums. Yeah. You I have just how you like right human things, right? That's well, we're having really some of this company with friends of these things.
I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Carol.